The port on Zarion 5 was crowded, noisy, and alive with movement. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered, landed, and took off again. Aliens of every imaginable form hurried past one another, shouting, trading, and negotiating. Humans were rare here, often dismissed as weak or insignificant. But among the bustling crowd, one human moved with quiet confidence, pushing a small toolkit through the chaos. His name was Kyle. Kyle had spent years traveling between star systems, fixing ships and equipment that others could not handle. His hands were steady and his mind was sharp. But despite his skill, he always felt a sense of being just a small part of a much bigger galaxy. He had seen thousands of aliens, some tall as towers, others with glowing eyes or tentacles, yet nothing in his travels had prepared him for what would happen that morning. He was walking through a narrow corridor of the port when he nearly collided with someone. "Oh!" Kyle stepped back, looking up. The figure before him was unlike anyone he had ever seen. She stood tall, her movements graceful and precise. Her skin shimmered faintly, as if dusted with starlight, and her eyes were a brilliant violet that seemed to glow in the port's artificial lights. Her hair, a deep silver, floated slightly, defying gravity. She wore a flowing robe embroidered with intricate patterns that marked her as someone of great importance. Kale froze for a moment, taken aback by her presence. But what happened next shocked him even more. The princess herself stopped, completely. She didn't flinch. She didn't speak. She didn't move a muscle. Her eyes widened slightly, and she stared at Kyle as if seeing something she had not expected. Something impossible. Kyle blinked. Excuse me?" he said cautiously, but the princess did not answer. She simply turned, her gaze still fixed on him for a heartbeat longer than normal, before moving away as if compelled to leave. Her attendants rushed to catch up with her, glancing back nervously at Kale. He stood there, toolkit in hand, completely confused. He had no idea why a royal figure would freeze at the sight of him. Humans were nothing special here. Most aliens considered them weak and unremarkable. Yet this princess, who was supposed to be fearless, had reacted like she had seen a ghost. "Strange," Kale muttered, shaking his head. He wanted to follow her, to ask what had happened, but he hesitated. Her attendants were still nearby, watching closely. It wasn't a good idea to startle royalty. Still, curiosity burned in him. He had seen many things in the galaxy, but nothing like this. He decided he had to find out more. Over the next few hours, Kale wandered the port, listening for whispers. Rumors traveled fast among alien species, especially about royalty. He learned her name, Princess Elira. She was said to be confident, decisive, and completely fearless. No one dared oppose her, and very few had ever seen her surprised, let alone frozen in place. Kale couldn't stop thinking about it. Something about him, something in his presence, had caused her to stop cold. But what? He had no special weapons, no fancy technology beyond his toolkit, and he was just one human among millions in the galaxy. Later, he returned to his small ship, a modest freighter equipped for repairs and short-range travel. As he cleaned his tools, a soft chime sounded from the ship's communicator. A holographic figure appeared. It was an alien he did not recognize, wearing a dark uniform with a silver insignia. Its eyes were sharp, calculating. "Kale," the figure said, voice low and urgent. "You should not ignore what you saw this morning." Kale raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me? Are you one of the princess's guards?" "No," the alien said. "But I serve those who watch her closely. The reaction you caused was unusual. You must discover why she froze. It is not safe for you to remain ignorant." Kyle frowned. "Safe? I was just walking through the port. What's the danger?" The alien's image flickered. There are forces who would take advantage of you if they understood what you carry within. The princess. She recognized it. Others might not hesitate to exploit it. Kale's mind raced. Exploit me? What do you mean? I'm just a mechanic. Not just a mechanic, the alien said. You are more than you know. But the truth is hidden. Seek the archives on Zarion 5. They hold information about your kind. Information that has been lost for centuries. The hologram disappeared, leaving Kale staring at the empty air. He ran a hand through his hair. This was not what he had expected from a quiet morning in a busy port. Curiosity and unease battled inside him. By evening, Kyle was walking toward the old archives. The building was enormous, ancient, and mostly ignored by the busy port. Inside, the air was cool and smelled faintly of metal and old paper. Holographic screens floated around the central chamber, filled with records from across the galaxy. Kale spent hours studying the archives, scanning through records about alien royal, families, ancient battles, and cosmic events long forgotten. He found references to humans, rare and often dismissed as insignificant. But buried deeper were strange hints, cryptic notes that suggested humans might carry a unique energy signature, one that could influence beings far stronger and more advanced than themselves. Kale's pulse quickened. Could this explain Princess Elira's reaction? Could humans be more than anyone believed? A soft voice interrupted his thoughts. You are asking the right questions, human. Kale spun around. Standing there, leaning casually against a holographic pillar, was a figure he had not expected to see. The figure's features were indistinct under the shadows of the archive, but Kale could feel its eyes studying him, sharp and intelligent. Who are you? Kale asked. That is not important yet, the figure said. What matters is that you understand one thing. The princess stopped for a reason, and discovering that reason will change everything, for you, for her, and for the galaxy. Kyle swallowed hard. He felt a mix of fear, curiosity, and excitement. Whatever lay ahead, he knew one thing. Life as he knew it had just changed forever, and somewhere far above, in the glittering corridors of her flagship, Princess Elira could not stop thinking about the human who had made her pause. Kale left the archives with his mind buzzing. Every step through the port felt heavier, as if he was walking in a new world he did not fully understand. The streets were still crowded, aliens haggling over goods and ships moving overhead, but Kale barely noticed. His thoughts were on the princess and the strange energy the archives hinted humans might carry. He returned to his ship and sat in the cockpit, staring out at the port lights. The communicator chimed again. Hesitating, Kale pressed the button. The alien from earlier appeared, this time in a brighter, more serious form. You should not ignore what you have discovered, the alien said. Its eyes glimmered with urgency. Your presence has already attracted attention. Some view you as harmless, but others see a potential they wish to control. Kyle rubbed his forehead. Control me? Look, I fix ships. I'm not dangerous. I'm just me. The alien shook its head. You do not understand. Humans were once more than simple travelers or mechanics. You carry a rare essence, a resilience and energy that can affect even the strongest. Princess Elira sensed it. That is why she froze. Kale frowned. Energy? Resilience? Look, I'm not a weapon or anything. I just live my life. That is what makes you dangerous, the alien replied. The galaxy underestimates you. That is why the princess's reaction is so important. If you discover your true potential, you can change the balance of power. Before Kale could respond, the communicator beeped off. He leaned back in his chair, trying to process the words. Change the galaxy? It sounded impossible. Yet something inside him stirred. A strange mix of pride and curiosity. Kale spent the next day quietly moving through the port, listening to whispers. The aliens seemed tense, their eyes flicking toward him occasionally. A few approached, pretending to shop, or ask directions. But Kale noticed they watched him closely, speaking in low voices. "What's going on?" Kale muttered under his breath. He had no weapons, no special technology, and yet he felt watched. That night, as he returned to his ship, a small craft hovered silently nearby. A figure emerged, stepping onto the platform with careful precision. It was humanoid but taller than Kale, dressed in a black suit with faint markings that glowed in the dark. "You are Kale," the figure said. Its voice was calm but carried authority. "Princess Elira has requested a private meeting." Kale's eyes widened. "A meeting? With her? Are you serious?" "Yes. She wishes to understand why you startled her," the figure said. "You must come. There is no alternative. She waits on her flagship, orbiting Zarian 5. Kale hesitated. A private meeting with a royal alien princess sounded dangerous. Yet something in him, a mixture of curiosity and stubborn courage, pushed him forward. He nodded slowly. "Very well," he said. "Take me to her." The figure led Kale to a sleek, elegant ship. The interior was smooth, almost like flowing water, with light that shifted colors gently. Kale stepped carefully, feeling the weight of the situation. Every corner seemed designed to impress, to remind visitors of power. Finally, he was led to a chamber with a wide window looking out into space. Stars sparkled like diamonds, and the princess stood there, her back to him. When she turned, Kale felt the same shock he had felt the first time he saw her. She was even more radiant aboard her ship, her presence commanding yet calm. "Kyle," she said softly, her voice melodic but strong. "You have appeared in my path for reasons I do not understand. Tell me, who are you?" Kyle swallowed. "I'm just me, a human. I travel, fix ships, and try to survive." The princess's violet eyes narrowed slightly, but not in anger. Instead, there was curiosity, an intensity Kale had never seen in anyone. "You are not ordinary," she said quietly. "There is something about you, something familiar yet long lost." Kale frowned. "Familiar? Lost? I don't understand." "You carry a mark," the princess said. "A legacy from the ancients. Humans were more than simple travelers. Your kind was hidden, underestimated, yet powerful in ways the galaxy forgot. I felt it the moment I saw you." Kale's heart raced. "Powerful? Look, I don't have powers or weapons. I fix things, that's all." "Sometimes," the princess said, stepping closer, "strength is not in weapons, but in what others cannot see. You have that. That is why I stopped. I did not expect to see it alive." Kale's mind spun. "Alive? What do you mean?" "The human essence," she said, her voice low, almost a whisper. "It was lost, hidden, forgotten, and yet, here you are." For a moment, silence filled the chamber. Kale tried to process the meaning of her words. Humans had been dismissed, ignored, yet somehow, according to this princess, they had a hidden history, an energy that could influence the galaxy. Before he could ask more, a warning sounded. The ship's sensors detected multiple unidentified vessels approaching rapidly. Kale looked out the window, small, sleek ships, moving with precision and intent. The princess's eyes narrowed. "They are coming for you," she said. "Or rather, for what you represent." Kale's heart thumped. He had only just begun to understand that something about him was special, and now he realized he was in danger. "You will need to trust me," the princess said. "I cannot reveal everything yet, but you must come with me. If you hesitate, they may reach you before the truth is uncovered." Kyle nodded, swallowing his fear. "All right, I trust you. For now." She gestured toward a small launch platform. The next moment, Kale found himself strapped into a sleek shuttle, rocketing away from Zarion 5 toward the princess's flagship. Stars blurred past, and Kale realized that his life, his understanding of humans, and the galaxy itself was about to change forever. Somewhere deep inside, Kale felt it. A strange spark, a quiet strength. He didn't yet know what it was or what it meant. But one thing was certain. The princess had stopped for a reason, and now he was going to discover why. Kale sat in the shuttle, staring out at the vast stars. The flagship loomed ahead, enormous and elegant, cutting through space with quiet power. He still could not believe he was heading to a private meeting with Princess Elira. His mind raced, with questions about humans, hidden energy, and why she had reacted the way she did. The shuttle docked smoothly, and Kale stepped into the flagship's polished corridors. The walls glimmered faintly, reflecting soft light that made him feel small yet strangely significant. Elira had arranged everything carefully, yet she left signs that this was not just a formal meeting. It was personal. He was led to a chamber, deep within the ship, filled with shelves of ancient records and glowing holographic displays. The room seemed older than the rest of the flagship, almost as if it existed in a separate time. Elira stood beside a large, shimmering hologram that displayed stars, planets, and strange symbols. "Kale," she said, her violet eyes steady. "I want you to see something most humans never know." Kale stepped closer, curious. The hologram shifted, showing a sequence of events from long ago. Humans, he saw, had once traveled across galaxies, not as merchants or wanderers, but as builders and warriors. Their ships were fast and clever, their strategies precise. They seemed ordinary on the surface, but their ingenuity allowed them to survive dangers that destroyed entire civilizations. Elira spoke softly. "Your kind was once part of a powerful cosmic race, known to some as the Ancients. Long ago, humans were hidden, scattered, and their legacy almost erased. But a trace of your essence remained, dormant in every generation." Kyle blinked. I never knew any of this. Are you saying humans were important? Powerful?" "Yes," Elira said. "In ways the galaxy has forgotten. Your presence triggers a response in those who are sensitive to it. That is why I froze when I saw you. I recognized what had been lost." Kale's mind spun. He had always thought humans were weak, dismissed by aliens, even feared only as curiosities. Yet here was a princess telling him that he carried the essence of a forgotten, powerful race. He felt a mix of awe, fear, and pride. "Why me?" he asked. "Why now?" "Because you are alive," Elira said. "Others like you were lost, hidden, or never awakened. But your kind has returned, and the galaxy does not yet understand the strength humans hold. Some will see it as a threat. Others may seek to control it. That is why you must be careful." Kyle felt the weight of her words. His life as a simple mechanic, a traveler of small systems, had ended the moment he stepped into the port of Zarion 5. He was no longer just a human among aliens. He carried something they had forgotten, something that could change the balance of power. "Are you saying I'm special?" Kyle asked, almost whispering. Elira's lips curved slightly. "Special is not the right word. Humans are resilient, resourceful, and underestimated. That combination makes you formidable in ways others cannot see." Kale ran his hands through his hair. "I don't even know how to use this, whatever it is. I just fix things. I survive." "Survival is part of it," Elira said. "It is in your blood. The ancients designed humans to endure, adapt, and influence situations without the galaxy noticing. You carry that legacy. But now, that hidden power has drawn attention." Before Kale could ask more, the ship's sensors beeped. Elira glanced at the readouts. "Intruders are approaching," she said calmly. "They know you are here. They seek what you carry." Kale's stomach tightened. "What do we do?" Elira's expression grew serious. "We prepare. You must understand that your potential is not just for curiosity. It can protect you, protect me, and perhaps even change how the galaxy views humans." Kyle took a deep breath. For the first time, he felt a sense of purpose beyond travel and repairs. He was part of something larger, something he had never imagined. Elira guided him to a smaller chamber filled with star charts, holographic simulations, and ancient texts. "These archives contain knowledge your kind has lost," she explained. "Weapons, strategies, even insights into energies humans can manipulate naturally. You must learn, Kyle, for what comes next will test everything you know." Kyle leaned over a holographic display, scanning symbols and diagrams he did not fully understand. But something inside him resonated. Patterns that had seemed meaningless before now made sense in a way he could not explain. His hands itched to interact, to explore, to figure out how this knowledge could help him survive the dangers ahead. "Why me, though?" Kale asked quietly. "There must be billions of humans. Why did you stop for me?" Elira stepped closer, her gaze steady. "Because you are the one who carries the spark, the ancient's essence. Others might awaken it someday, but you were born ready whether you knew it or not. That is why I stopped. That is why I am here with you now." Kyle felt a strange mixture of fear and pride. He was just a human, yet he held something that could not be ignored. The princess had seen it instantly, before he even knew it existed himself. "Then I guess I have to learn," Kyle said finally. "If this is real, if it's why you froze, I can't just ignore it. I have to understand it. I have to know what humans are really capable of." Elira nodded. "And you will. But first you must survive the challenges that come with it. Those who seek to exploit humans' hidden legacy are already moving. We cannot wait." Kyle looked out of the chamber window at the stars. He felt a quiet fire inside him, a spark of determination. The galaxy had always underestimated humans, but he could feel the truth stirring within him, a truth the aliens had forgotten, a strength hidden for centuries, now awakening, and somewhere deep in space, the first signs of danger were moving closer, testing whether Kale's potential was ready to reveal itself. The alarms on the flagship blared, echoing through the polished corridors. Kyle's heart raced as he followed Princess Elira down a wide passage toward the command center. Outside, the stars streaked past as the ship moved to intercept the incoming intruders. Sleek enemy vessels cut through space with deadly precision, their weapons ready. "Kyle," Elira said, her violet eyes calm despite the chaos. "This is your first real test. I need you to understand how humans think. We cannot rely on strength alone. We must be clever." Kyle swallowed. "Clever? I'm a mechanic, not a soldier." "Cleverness is exactly what is needed," she said. "Observe, improvise, and act. That is how your species has survived in the galaxy." He nodded, though his hands shook slightly. The command center was a wide room filled with holographic displays and alien officers monitoring the incoming threat. Elira stood at the center, giving calm, precise orders, while Kale moved to a nearby console, trying to make sense of the controls. "Focus on what you know," Elira advised. "You do not need their technology. You need your mind." The first wave of enemy ships emerged from the shadows of space. They fired beams that rippled across the void, some hitting shields and others exploding harmlessly against the flagship's armor. The alien officers reacted with precision, but Elira's eyes remained fixed on Kale. "Now," she said. Kale scanned the console. He saw a series of systems controlling shield patterns, navigation routes, and energy channels. He remembered similar setups on ships he had repaired. Complex, but logical. He began to reroute power through unexpected pathways, diverting energy to shields and creating decoy signals that confused the attackers. The enemy vessels hesitated. Their attacks became disorganized, giving the flagship an advantage. Kale felt a surge of confidence. He was not just a passenger, he was part of the defense. Elira noticed the change instantly. "Impressive," she said. "Your instincts? They are human. Quick thinking, adaptability. They underestimate it. But it can save lives." Kale smiled faintly. "I guess humans do have some tricks." The enemy ships regrouped, attempting a coordinated strike. Elira leaned closer to Kale. "You can do more. Use your mind to predict their moves. Think like they do, then do the unexpected." Kale studied the approaching vessels. He remembered patterns he had seen in pirate attacks and old schematics. He quickly adjusted the flagship's trajectory and shield timing, making it appear slower and more vulnerable. When the enemy fired, their weapons overshot or missed entirely. "Human ingenuity," Elira said under her breath, almost in admiration. "They never anticipate your unpredictability." Kale's pulse quickened. For the first time, he realized the truth in Elira's words. Humans were underestimated for a reason. Our resilience, our ability to improvise, to adapt, that was our hidden strength. Even among advanced alien species, these traits could make the difference between life and death. Suddenly, one of the enemy ships broke through the outer defense perimeter, heading straight for the flagship. Kale spotted a flaw in their attack pattern. He quickly rerouted power to the primary shield at the right moment, absorbing the impact while redirecting excess energy to a counterbeam. The enemy vessel spun out of control and drifted away, disabled. The command center erupted with murmurs of surprise. Elira's officers exchanged amazed looks. She turned to Kale, her expression softening. "You have potential beyond what I expected. Humans, you are more than I realized." Kale felt a strange pride. He was just a mechanic, yes, but his mind, his instincts, and his adaptability had just helped save the flagship. He began to understand what Elira meant about humans' hidden power. The enemy retreated, but sensors detected reinforcements on the way. Elira turned to Kale. "This was only the first wave. They will return stronger. You must learn to anticipate, to act before they strike. That is the human advantage." Kale nodded, determination settling in. He no longer felt fear. He felt purpose. He understood that his species had been underestimated, dismissed, even forgotten, but the galaxy was beginning to see humans in a new light. Elira placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are ready, Kyle. The galaxy will challenge you in ways you cannot imagine. But your mind, your adaptability, that is your true weapon." Kale looked out the window at the stars, thinking of the first time he had seen her in the port. Back then, she had stopped cold, unsure of what she saw. Now he understood. She had recognized not just him, but the essence of humans, the resilience, the ingenuity, the ability to survive against all odds. As the flagship moved through space, preparing for the next wave, Kyle felt a deep connection to the human legacy Elira spoke of. He was part of something bigger now. Humans had survived, thrived, and adapted for millennia, even when the galaxy thought they were weak. And now, for the first time, humans had a chance to prove it. "Ready?" Elira asked. Kyle straightened, eyes sharp and focused. "Ready!" The flagship accelerated toward the incoming ships. Kale's hands moved over the console with confidence, adjusting shields, rerouting power, predicting enemy patterns. Each move was small, yet critical, and he felt a thrill he had never known. Humans were underestimated, yes, but underestimated. Humans were dangerous. Elira watched silently, her expression a mixture of admiration and amazement. For centuries, humans had been ignored, dismissed, and overlooked. But Kale's quick thinking, resourcefulness, and calm under pressure were proof of what the ancients had left behind. Humans were not weak. They were hidden predators, capable of turning the tide in ways the galaxy had forgotten. As the enemy ships closed in, Kale felt a spark of confidence and clarity. Whatever the galaxy threw at him, he could adapt. Humans had survived worse, and now, in the company of Princess Elira, he would show the universe exactly why. And somewhere deep in his mind, Kale realized the truth. The princess had stopped cold, not out of fear, but recognition. She had seen what humans were capable of, and that moment marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for him, but for all humanity. The flagship drifted silently through space, though danger loomed just beyond the sensors. Kyle sat at the console, eyes sharp, hands steady. The first wave of attackers had retreated, but he knew it was only a matter of time before the next threat arrived. Elira stood behind him, calm and poised, her violet eyes scanning the readouts. "You are learning quickly," she said, "but knowing how to survive is only part of it. Humans must also understand who you are and what you carry. That is your true power." Kale frowned. "I don't fully understand it yet. What I saw in the archives, it's amazing, but confusing. I'm just a human, not some legendary warrior or energy master." Elira smiled faintly. "Your kind was never ordinary, Kale. Humans were created to endure, to adapt, to influence events without being noticed. That essence is what makes you dangerous to those who would exploit it." Kale leaned back, thinking. "So, all this time humans were underestimated? People thought we were weak?" "Yes," Elira said softly. "That is why the galaxy has ignored you for so long, but the ancients left traces in every human. Traits that survive even when civilizations forget. Resourcefulness, ingenuity, resilience, and something more. Something that resonates with certain species in ways they cannot explain." Kale's mind raced. He felt pride, yes, but also a sense of responsibility. The galaxy might see humans as small and weak, but now he understood they carried something powerful, even if it was hidden. Suddenly, the sensors beeped urgently. Multiple, fast ships appeared on the edge of the detection grid. This was no scouting group. It was an attack force, moving with speed and purpose. Elira's expression hardened. "They are here," she said. "Kale, this is more than a test. These ships are after you specifically. They want the human essence." Kyle's pulse quickened. "The human essence? Why me?" "Because you are the one who carries it fully awakened," Elira explained. "Others may have traces, but you were born ready. That is why the galaxy reacts the way it does when it senses humans." The enemy ships moved in tight formation, their weapons glowing ominously. Kyle quickly analyzed their attack patterns. He realized their strategy was predictable, relying on overwhelming force and precise strikes. But humans thrived on unpredictability. "Elira, watch this," he said, fingers flying over the controls. He rerouted the flagship's energy in a pattern the aliens could not anticipate. Shields pulsed, beams deflected, and holographic decoys confused the attackers. One ship collided with another, spinning out of control, while the flagship slipped through their formation almost effortlessly. Elira's eyes widened in admiration. "Remarkable. You think like humans, Kale. Always finding a solution when none seems possible." Kale smiled faintly, focusing on the next move. "We survive by adapting. That's what humans do. When others rely on strength, we use our minds, and when they rely on fear, we keep moving." The enemy ships regrouped, more cautious now, but Kale had learned to predict them. He noticed subtle patterns in their maneuvers, tiny pauses, slight hesitations. Using this, he manipulated the flagship's movements, leading the attackers into a trap. Automated defense drones sprang into action, disabling several enemy ships before they could react. "Kyle, you are proving what I suspected," Elira said quietly. "Humans are more than the galaxy believes. Even the most advanced species cannot anticipate your ingenuity. That is why I stopped cold when I saw you." Kale's heart thumped. For the first time, he understood the truth in her words. Humans were underestimated not because they lacked strength, but because their greatest strength was invisible: adaptability, quick thinking, and an uncanny ability to survive against overwhelming odds. Suddenly, a new alert flashed on the console. A massive ship appeared at the edge of the sensor range. Its design was unlike any Kale had seen: sleek, angular, with weapons bristling along every surface. The enemy command ship had arrived. "They mean business," Elira said. "This is the main force. If they succeed, humans will be captured or destroyed. Kyle, we need every advantage. Your mind may be our only hope." Kyle's hands flew over the console. He analyzed the massive ship's trajectory, predicting its attack path. Then he made a decision. We can't just defend. We have to force them into a position where their strength works against them. Elira tilted her head, impressed. "Go ahead. I trust your instincts." Using every bit of knowledge he had gained about alien tactics, Kyle manipulated the flagship's energy flow, creating a controlled series of decoys and energy pulses. The command ship's weapons fired blindly, hitting nothing but empty space. Its smaller escort ships followed the flagship into a trap, colliding or being disabled by drones. Elira's officers exchanged stunned looks. Even she seemed taken aback. "Humans," she whispered. "The galaxy has no idea what it is dealing with." Kale felt a surge of confidence. He was not a hero, not yet. He was a human, relying on instinct, adaptability, and cleverness. The traits Elira had recognized in the port. And right now, those traits were saving lives. The enemy command ship finally broke off its attack, retreating with what remained of its force. Elira exhaled, her expression softening. "You have done it. You have survived the first real test, and in doing so, you have proven that humans are not to be underestimated." Kale leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. "I guess humans do have some tricks after all," he said with a faint smile. Elira studied him closely, her violet eyes thoughtful. "This is only the beginning, Kale. Your kind carries a legacy that has been hidden for centuries. The galaxy will continue to challenge you, test you, and try to control you. But now, you know the truth. You are human, and that alone makes you formidable." Kale nodded, understanding the weight of her words. Humans had survived in the shadows of the galaxy, underestimated and overlooked. But their resilience, ingenuity, and adaptability had endured, hidden in plain sight. And now, Kale was ready to embrace that legacy. As the flagship set a course back to the safety of Zarion 5's orbit, Kale looked out at the stars. Somewhere, the galaxy had begun to notice humans, and Kale could feel it. The princess had stopped, cold for a reason, and now he knew why. Humans were not weak. Humans were hidden predators, ready to shape the galaxy in ways no one could anticipate. And Kale, just one human among billions, had begun to awaken that power. The flagship drifted in the outer rim of Zarion 5's system, its shields still humming from the last encounter. Kale sat at the console, fingers tapping lightly as he reviewed the readings. Even after the previous battle, his heart raced. The galaxy had already begun to notice humans, and the final test was near. Elira stood behind him, calm but alert. "They won't stop," she said. "Those who seek to control or destroy humans will come again. But this time, we are ready. Kyle nodded. I've learned a lot, Elira. I can anticipate, adapt, and act quickly, but are humans really ready to show the galaxy what we can do? Elira's violet eyes softened. Yes. The galaxy thinks humans are weak. They underestimate your ingenuity, resilience, and spirit. That is the strength they cannot see, and the strength we will show them today. A sensor beep cut through the quiet. Multiple alien warships emerged from hyperspace, moving with deadly precision. Their formation was tighter, more coordinated than before. These were not simple raiders. They were a full assault fleet. Kale's pulse quickened. Looks like it's our turn, he muttered. Elira stepped closer. Trust yourself. Trust humans. You are not just one. You carry the essence of your species, the ingenuity, adaptability, and resilience that have endured for centuries. Use it. Kale took a deep breath. He studied the approaching fleet, analyzing their movements, weapon timing, and formation. Patterns. Then almost instinctively, he began rerouting the flagship's energy. Shields shifted, engines surged, and holographic decoys appeared, confusing the enemy sensors. The first wave of weapons fired, striking the decoys. Enemy beams glanced off shields that pulsed precisely when needed. Kyle adjusted energy flows, predicting their next moves before they made them. Every action was calculated, yet adaptive, a perfect combination of human instinct and skill. Elira watched him silently. Humans, she whispered, you are remarkable. The enemy fleet responded with heavier firepower. Massive beams cut across space, some striking the flagship's armor, others exploding harmlessly against misdirected targets. Kale's mind raced, adjusting shields and energy channels with rapid precision. Each small decision, each rerouted beam disrupted the enemy's strategy. Then the enemy attempted a flanking maneuver. Kale anticipated it, rerouting energy to engines and shields, slipping the flagship into a position that trapped the attackers between decoys and drones. Their formation broke apart. One ship collided with another. Others were disabled by automated countermeasures. Kale felt a thrill. Humans were underestimated for centuries, dismissed as weak. But now the galaxy could see what they were truly capable of. Elira's voice cut through his thoughts. They are trying to take you alive, Kyle. If they succeed, they could use your essence for their own gain. We cannot allow that. Kyle nodded. He directed the flagship into a calculated attack run, using speed, misdirection, and clever energy surges to target weak points in the enemy ships. One by one, the attackers were neutralized or forced to retreat. The flagship moved like a predator, agile and precise, guided by Kale's instincts. Elira's officers exchanged astonished glances. Even the princess herself seemed momentarily surprised. Humans had been dismissed, overlooked, and underestimated. But Kale's actions proved the truth. Humans were dangerous in ways the galaxy had forgotten. Finally, the enemy fleet, battered and disorganized, began to retreat. Kale watched them vanish into hyperspace, and for the first time a sense of calm settled over him. He had survived the battle. He had defended the flagship, and he had shown that humans were not to be ignored. Elira stepped forward, placing a hand lightly on his shoulder. You have done more than survive, Kale. You have demonstrated what your species is capable of. The galaxy will never underestimate humans again. Kale looked out at the stars, a smile forming on his face. I guess humans really do have a way of surprising everyone. Elira nodded. Yes, and it is not just you. Every human carries this legacy, the ingenuity, the adaptability, the hidden strength that the galaxy cannot see. You are proof. Kale felt a deep sense of pride. For centuries, humans had been dismissed, their potential ignored. But now, in this moment, the galaxy had witnessed it firsthand. Humans were not weak. Humans were survivors, innovators, and hidden predators. The flagship resumed its course, moving away from the battlefield. Kyle's hands rested lightly on the console. He had learned that strength was not only in weapons or power, it was in thinking, adapting, and staying calm when others expected failure. Elira's voice broke the quiet. Kale, there will be more challenges ahead. Some will fear humans. Some will seek to control them. But you have begun to awaken the truth. That is the first step. Kale nodded. I understand now. Humans are not ordinary. We survive. We adapt. We think. And we never give up. Elira smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting the distant stars. Exactly. That is why I stopped cold when I first saw you. I recognized what had been lost. And now, the galaxy will begin to see it too. Kale leaned back, feeling the weight of her words. He had begun as a simple human, a mechanic traveling between systems. Now he carried the legacy of an entire species, a species underestimated for centuries, but capable of changing the galaxy. For the first time, Kyle felt the full meaning of being human. It was not in size, technology, or raw power. It was in resilience, ingenuity, and the quiet determination to survive and adapt. That was the essence the princess had recognized, and the essence that would shape the future of the galaxy. As the flagship continued its journey through the stars, Kale looked out at the vast expanse. Somewhere out there, the galaxy had begun to notice humans, and now it could not ignore them. Elira's voice came again, soft but firm. Kale, humans have always been underestimated, but from now on, the galaxy will watch, and it will remember. Kale smiled, feeling a sense of purpose he had never known. The princess had stopped cold for a reason, and now he understood why. Humans were not weak. Humans were hidden predators, clever and resilient, ready to face whatever the galaxy threw at them, and Kale, one human among billions, had just begun to show the universe what it meant to be human.